was just gonna make a short about this, but I've decided to make a video. If you are using Apple Cash, the little black card in your Apple Wallet, you're thinking that's cash. Well, it's money, and it's money that's held. And for anyone familiar with how money is held by banks. Your Apple Cash is held by a bank. Okay, not a big deal. You know, that's normal, right? That's normal. Well, we often get to pick our banks. Like we do our business with a particular bank because of their level of customer service and all that fun stuff. Although there's some issues we've had recently. They love it when they hold our money, but they like to block it when we try to spend their money. So that's a whole different topic. But one fundamental thing about a bank, whether it be for your credit card, your checking account, or your debit card, is that there is a process in place to report and manage fraudulent transactions. For example, with your credit card or your debit card, you see a transaction that is something you don't recognize. You call your bank and say, hey, all right, we're investigating it. We'll put that transaction on hold, or we'll block it, we'll stop it. And then if it goes through and we determine it to be fraud, you'll get your money back. You are protected. That is with your normal bank. Just so you know, Apple Cash, your money is held by a bank called Green Dot Bank. I could go on for much longer than I'm gonna do here. This was almost a short, but it needed a little bit more time. Your money is not safe with Green Dot Bank. Let me say this again. Your money is not safe with Green Dot Bank, and I don't care what that cost me. People need to know. There's two ways you can spend your Apple Cash. You can scan your phone, NFC, think, right? And you can use your Apple Cash. Well, I guess there's more than two. You can go online and use Apple Pay, and I think you can use Apple Cash in that way. But Apple Cash provides you with a card number, and it's you can create a different card number. It's a virtual card number. You go in, see card number, and it will give you the 16-digit number. It will give you the expiration date, security code. There are vendors that do not accept Apple Pay. So they accept a card. You can put that number in. Well, one way or another, whether you pay NFC, it's obviously more secure, or if you use a card number, less secure, but we use cards every day. If your card information, whatever, is stolen for your Apple Cash money, some of you may have $20 in it, some of you may have $5, some of you may have $1,000 or more. That money is not safe. And what do I mean by not safe? I mean that if a fraudulent transaction occurs and you see the fraudulent transaction, number one, there's not a way to report a transaction as truly fraud. Try it. Go into your app and it'll say report a problem. There's no fraud. You have to say other, and then you can type in, this is a fraudulent transaction, do not pay, I didn't charge this, right? Obviously you can pick up the phone. Not many people agree with that. There should be a process in place, like other cards and banks, to report a transaction as fraud. Number two, when you report, if you do get through or you call, if the transaction is for $50 and you have $500 in your Apple Cash, all of your money is immediately locked up while they review that one transaction. Let me say that again. All of your money will be blocked from transfer, from receiving payment, from everything. Your Apple Cash account will be locked while they investigate the fraud. So you think, okay, well, if you report it in time, they can just block the transaction. Logical, right? Hey, I don't recognize this transaction. Hey, Apple Cash, hey, Green Dot Bank. That's the bank, Green Dot Bank. And I recommend everyone, do not do any business. Do not give Green Dot a dime of your money, because I don't think they have, number one, the policies and processes in place. I don't feel like they were being honest with me, honestly. I don't think they have processes in place to correctly review, identify fraud, and then protect your money. So going back, you report fraud to Green Dot Bank, they lock your Apple Cash. So whatever other balance you have in addition to the $50 fraud, that money's locked until they do the review. When they do the review, they're gonna come back, and if it's under like 20 bucks, they'll probably just say, hey, cool, here's your money back. If it's in excess of $20, good luck getting your money back. You're probably not going to get your money back, because they're gonna say, we don't recognize that it was made on another device, or biometric verification was required. Well, if you've used that card, right, with a trusted vendor, we trust vendors every day. We trust Amazon, we trust Walmart, we trust major vendors, right? Well, if you've used that card and that card gets stolen from that vendor, there was no biometric validation or verification that was used. It's a stolen card. It's exactly what happened to us. My son made a $15 purchase with Amazon. It required a card number. It did not accept his Apple Cash, NFC, Apple Pay type payment. He provided Amazon, a trusted vendor, with that card number, and he bought something for $15 or $16, whatever it was. Immediately, fraudulent transactions started appearing. Someone stole that card number from Amazon. There was no biometric, no one hacked his phone, nothing was changed on his phone, they stole it from Amazon. The first fraudulent transaction was with Amazon. And because it was under a certain threshold, Green Dot Bank, fraudulent.com, approved, hey, that's fraud, here's his $16 back or whatever. Well, then a almost $200 purchase was made. Again, we go back to, you try to report it via the GUI, the user interface, you can't do it. You can only say report other and then type something out. It goes into the ether. Maybe someone sees it eventually in a survey, I don't know. But there's no method to report fraud other than getting on the phone with Green Dot Bank. And it takes a long time to find out that Green Dot Bank is actually the bank holding your money, because Apple Cash will try to work with you. I've spent 4 hours and they don't understand basic issues, and they don't have processes in place to protect your money over a certain value. So where I'm going is, the fraud per Green Dot Bank has to be allowed to occur, meaning we told them that the transaction was fraudulent. It had not been processed. Per Green Dot Bank, hey, it hasn't gone through yet. Great, block it, block the transaction. They're stealing our money. No, can't do that. We have to let the fraudulent transaction go through before we can do anything. I said, that doesn't make any sense. It's fraud. We're giving you a heads up. It's fraud. We've reported it on the phone. We're calling you. We're telling you it's fraud. They're stealing our money. When it goes through, we can take a look. There's nothing we can do. Hands are tied. We had to wait. Keep in mind, all of the Apple Cash remaining in the Apple Cash card on the phone is blocked. It's blocked. You can't use it. Because they turn everything off and block everything because you've reported something as fraud, even though the fraud hasn't actually happened. They've tried to steal your money, but the bank hasn't given it to them yet. The bank has to, after you've told them that it's fraud, the bank has to give them the stolen money before you can report it or spend any of your other money. So Green Dot Bank, we went through the process. We reported the transaction. They processed the fraudulent transaction. After we told them this is a fraudulent transaction, it hasn't gone through, they processed it. We then followed the rules and we said, okay, we're gonna report this as a fraudulent transaction. Please review, and then look at my son, hey, you'll get your money back. This is how it works. We do it with the debit cards, we do it with the credit cards. Once they realize it's fraud, they can clearly see the transaction type. There's the NFC, hey, point at that the NFC was used or a card was used. And they can clearly see that after he made a transaction, the money was stolen. They denied it. They denied it. They took his money. They said, too bad, tough luck. Remove all of your money from Apple Cash immediately. They cannot be trusted with your money.